I wanted to introduce Liz Rice. I know you guys have seen her through Zoom at the Educator conference last summer, which seems so long ago that we were there together. But I asked, Liz is your contact for foundations. She's your contact for ServSafe. If you're looking for quotes, she'd be the one that can help you. She can help you with any of the technical things that you may be having, or can at least point you to the right people to talk to so that we can get you through any kind of technical issues you have. But I thought it'd be a great, because we had it come up a few times, just a little bit of confusion about ServSafe and foundations. I know some of you have been testing, some of you have never tested, some are new to the product. So I thought it'd be great for Liz to do a review and just show you how it works. I know if you're not going to do testing this year, it might be something that you'll have to ask again, but at least gives you the starting point on how it works. We're going to record this and have this sent out so that you have it as a basis of when you start testing. And with that, I will turn this over to you, Liz.
Awesome. Thank you, Hope. So like Hope mentioned, I'm Liz. I am both your ServSafe rep and your foundations curriculum. So any questions you may have about ordering or how things work, you can contact me directly. I would be happy to assist. I'm going to go over everything in kind of chronological order on how to order, purchase, becoming an instructor proctor, and that sort of thing. Please stop me at any point. Again, this is a free-flowing conversation. So without further ado, I just want to go over how you would be able to order. You would come to me directly and, say, hey, I need a few, 15 food handler courses or manager courses or anything like that. I would send you basically a list of information I need from you, your school information, your either your user ID or username login for ServSafe. That's where I would be able to create your quote. From there, I would create the quote, send it back to you. You can be able to send me a purchase order, or if you wanted to do something via credit card, you can call the service center, which I could provide that number for you. Or in just a few minutes, I'll show you how to order it online as well. But coming through me is typically easier because there's a lot of questions that you guys typically have during that process. So let me just share my screen, my other screen really quick. And I'm also impersonating a colleague of mine. She is actually an instructor proctor for ServSafe. So I'll be doing that as well. It'll have a different name.
I'm going to say too, just so you know, majority of these individuals, everybody that's on the call is already set up as they've already created usernames and passwords, and they're educators for foundation. So they're all set up.
Okay.
And I'm going to say probably most of you are set up as ServSafe instructor and proctors. I guess maybe shake your head and just say yes. So I think, a lot of them have gone through that process too. Like at least getting themselves set up on the screen and everything.
Can I just ask a quick clarification? So you're saying that instead of going through the service center directly, we can go through you?
Correct.
Because that's a nightmare going through the service center. Like if you have a question or a problem or an issue, or they forget to bill you or whatever, I mean, I find it very cumbersome, very, very cumbersome.
Yes, I mean, they are trained specifically to the book, and there is a lot of individuals in the service center too. So you might send one email, get an answer from an individual, send another email, get an answer from a different completely individual. That's just the way service centers in general are set up. However, if I don't know the answer to the question, I can point to you for someone who can, or connect with our service center supervisors directly to help you out further if I can't do anything for whatever reason. So I am your main girl.
My business manager thinks you too.
So you don't have to sit online waiting to talk to someone too.
If you are going to do like purchase over with a credit card, for instance, though, unfortunately, I can't take any credit card information. The service center, I would have to direct you to them. But you would just reference your quote and do it that way. So, I mean, I guess with that being said, did you guys want me to go over on how to become a proctor, or are you guys good on that?
I think everybody's probably good on that.
Okay.
If there are any questions, we could just deal with that one, one off.
Absolutely. Okay. So can you guys see my screen right here with, give me 1 second. Hopefully I'm still logged in through the ServSafe account. It'll say Neely. Perfect. Okay. So I'm just going to go over quickly how to order things, just so you have an understanding of it. But honestly, come to me for a quote. That would be the best way to make sure that you have everything you need. So I'm going to do ServSafe Food Handler really quickly. And it's going to ask you, food handlers are specific to states typically. I think you guys are just do the national standard. So over here, you'll have the ServSafe Food Handler course and assessment bundle. The assessment bundle has the exam at the end of each course. Each student has to be going through the courses in order to take the exam. Also, something to note, which we've had a few issues with over the last couple months, ServSafe courses expire 1 year after purchase. So let's just say, for instance, you guys purchase ServSafe Food Handler or ServSafe Manager courses today. 1 year from now, they would expire. But also your students have extended, I guess, time periods on when you guys can complete the courses. So let me just double check my handy dandy cheat sheet here. So for food manager courses, it's a 1 year from purchase to begin the courses, and then you have 90 days after the start date to complete the courses before they expire. For food handler, again, you have 1 year from purchase to assign the courses and 60 days to complete the courses once it's started. Any questions about that?
Maybe just that one aside note that we talked about. Like once it's started by the person, it's theirs.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. Once you assign, and I can show you how to assign courses as well. Once you assign courses, it has to be finished from that person. They can't switch over and give it to somebody else. So once it's assigned to a specific student and that student happens to drop the class, it has to be finished from that student. You can't transfer it over to another individual.
So if I assign it, the clock doesn't start until they actually start taking it, or does the clock start when I assign it?
Once they open the course.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm correct, Liz, though, you can assign it to an individual. It's when they open it, it becomes theirs.
Correct.
So like, say like Johnny, you assign it to Johnny and Johnny just never touches it. You can unassign it and reassign it as long as Johnny never opened it.
Correct.
Okay. But once he opens it, it's his. It's like, once you take the cellophane off, it's yours.
Yes, correct. Let's see here. So for instance, if I go into add to my cart, my product was added to my cart, it says 0. But you'll be able to adjust the quantity right here. And then you can continue to check out. Let's see what happens. You would just fill out your shipping information, your billing information, and this is where you'll be able to either, you'll put in the credit card, and then from that, you would be able to check out. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show you exactly how those steps work, but that's one way to purchase with a credit card is through your online portal. Or again, if I create a quote for you, you would call the service center number, which is on the quote. However, I can always give it to you anyways, and reference that quote number and pay credit card via that way.
Can I just make one suggestion, because I made this mistake and it was a nightmare. If you're going to order with a credit card, in my mind, I thought I had to go in and put a purchase order in also, and they double delivered.
Yes, well, it does say purchase order number, so it's not entirely your fault. It does ask for that. So
yeah, we thought they wouldn't send it if we didn't have a purchase order number. And then it was that, we had to wait for the order to come in, and then we weren't there because of COVID. And we did find, I think you straightened it out for us. But if you order with a credit card, don't put the purchase order number in.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. Correct. There was one other point that I wanted to add to that, but it's not coming to mind right now. Oh, yes. Say your administrator wants to purchase for you, which is totally fine. However, it needs to go into your instructor account. Otherwise, it would go to the administrator account, and you won't be able to see any of the courses in your specific account. So let's just say Hope was the administrator, she purchased that, and she gave me her information and not yours. It would go straight to Hope's account, and from there, Hope would have to assign those courses or look at the grading or anything like that. So when you come to me directly, I usually specifically ask you your username or ID, because it has both, whichever one you can remember. And from there, I would send in with your purchase order your specific ID. So once the service center processes your purchase order, it will go straight to your account. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and this is just for online courses.
This is for online, yes. Yeah. Now, let's go ahead and switch gears and do how to schedule exams. Hope, are we on?
The only thing, I don't know if anybody has questions, but is everybody familiar on how to assign a course if it's sitting in your dashboard?
I'll go over it.
Just quick, because I mean, I think I did have a question on that. He was like, I don't know where all my codes are. And I'm like, you have to go into your dashboard. You got to click here, and then you can keep assigning.
Perfect. All right, give me 1 second. I hope Neely has some courses to assign. Give me 1 second. I know I do, so let me just log into mine really quick. And then there's 3 ways to assign courses. So once you go into your account, you'll be under Welcome, Elizabeth. You'll go into Dashboard. From right there, you'll see this. For you guys, you might see a couple different things. You'll see the student, the admin account. The admin button / account is when you have courses assigned to your specific account. And then you'll see the Instructor Proctor. In that Instructor Proctor, you'll be able to schedule exams. We'll go over that in a minute. But I'm going to go to admin since I have courses that I can assign. I'm going to go into course management. And from here, you'll see a drop-down button for courses. These are all the courses in my account. If you just have allergens, or if you just have alcohol or whatever it may be, it'll only have those specific courses for the drop-down button. So I'm going to go ahead and click into alcohol, just for fun. And I'm going to be able to select the options. Oh, wait, available courses, 0. Just kidding. Let me go into another one. Where is Food Handler? And it says available courses 9. So please disregard what I said about the drop-down button. You'll be able to see how many available courses you have right over here. So you can search by assigned courses, track students, or unassigned courses. That's if you accidentally assign a course to a student that drops out and has not clicked into it yet, you can unassign this way. But I'm going to click assign courses. I'm going to select the drop-down button, and you could assign courses 3 different ways. One, you can assign by the student's email. It has to be a valid email. So if the student cannot get into an email address for whatever reason, they won't be able to get into it. You can assign them by user ID, or you can create a course key. These 2 are my favorite though, creating by email address or by a user ID. So I think the first steps that you need to do for your students is have them create a ServSafe account. This way, 1, you can have their ID ready on hand. 2, I would have them create the username and password and give it to you, just so that there's no confusion. This is where I have to step back a little bit. I can't really connect with your students. So I would either have to be talking to you, or your students have to be talking to the service center. The service center, unfortunately, has pushback when it comes to talking to any instructors that aren't assigned to the user ID or account that you're trying to reference to. Does that make sense? If it's not under, if you, as the instructor, if you're trying to help the student out and call the service center for them, they are very pushy and most likely will not be able to help you because you are not that student under that account. Does that make sense?
Can I ask you a quick question about their email?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the students, because we're all on virtual, they have emails that are specific to their school. Like my students have an email that's specific. Once they graduate, they can't get into that email. So when they create this account, they probably should use an email that's not their high school email, because isn't this the account they'll use to get certificates and things down the line?
Correct. So that is a very good point. And just to give a little background of myself, I went to culinary school. So when I was taking my ServSafe courses, I was specific to my personal email and not my Robert Morris email. So that is a very good point. But just to make things a lot smoother, I would have an Excel sheet with your student's name, your student's email that they used for the ServSafe account and their password, and then also, if you can, their user ID or name. Does that kind of help clarify things too? Awesome. Okay. So if, let's just say you assign by email, it doesn't have to be the email that's logged into their ServSafe account. So if you did want to use their school email to assign the course, they would just click into the link that is provided for them into that email, and then just log into their ServSafe account. But it would be a little bit more smoother in transition if you assign them to the email address that is used for their personal stuff. Okay. Does that help clarify on how to assign courses? Hope, is there anything else you wanted me to add?
Nope, I think that was great. I guess for the group here, I mean, do you all feel comfortable, or do all of you order exams, or, I mean, or would you like Liz to walk through it? If I don't want to, want to make sure, we're efficient with time if anybody needs that. Because I know Camille, you do it, and Larry, Tim, do you do that already? Yeah. So maybe if you wanted to go through it, maybe just real quick, if there's anything new, and maybe definitely cover
How to scheduling.
exams, like the ordering of exams. If I think we could do that really quick because most I think know how to do that.
Yeah, I'd be
Okay.
interested in hearing. I'm not there yet, so.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For ServSafe.
Perfect.
And then definitely want to cover just a little bit about the remote proctoring aspect.
Yes.
Okay.
Just a little bit about
That's
that
a big one.
on
Mhm.
ServSafe. And then
Okay.
foundations, I think everybody here would like to see the foundations part of it then too.
Okay. Let me stop sharing my screen really quick. Log into Neely's. Do you see Neely's account? It says welcome, Neely. Awesome. So if we are going to go over quickly about scheduling exams, is that correct? Okay. So once you become a proctor, an instructor proctor is probably like the best thing to do. You would go into dashboard, pull this down, go into welcome, go to dashboard. Right here, you'll have the instructor proctor. From there, you'll have a few different things. For the examination, you would go into examine management. Here are the few courses that you can administer. Let's do manager certificate. I'm going to hit schedule exam. You're going to read the administration handbook and this right over here and hit accept. So it's really hard to see, but there are a few choices, okay? So if you have ordered a paper and pencil, there's a few different variations that we call it. Under our account, we call them answer sheets. You might call them Scantrons, bubble sheets, or print exams. So whichever one you've chosen to do, either print or online. For instance, I'm just going to do the print, and then we'll go over online exams. You would hit print exam. It would continue onto the screen. You would fill out your information in the organization. I'm going to pull this down. You would pick your organization, which you should be linked to your organization account. If not, I can help you with that as well. So you will have your, it'll say mail exam bundles, or I'm sorry, booklets. These booklets are the answers, or I'm sorry, the questions to the exam. You have to schedule this out at least 10 days in advance, if not 30. It's like between 30 and 10 days. The more closer to it, especially because of COVID and everything, it might be a little bit different. So, but you cannot order them any less than 10 days in advance. So you'll fill out where to send those booklets to, the organizational address, which would probably most likely be your school address or yours, depending on, it might be the same address. You would choose your exam date, and I'm going to go 10 days in advance, and weekends does not count because it will be 10 business days. So let's just count out. Oh, that's 22. Let's go into March. And I'm going to say March 17th. From here, you'll be able to choose what language you want the exam bundles to be in. So the exam questions to be in. There is everything from Chinese, English, French, Japanese, Korean, and Spanish. Let's just say 1 in English. And you'll be able to click here and say schedule exams. From this date, it'll have our Service Center be prompt into sending those exam bundles to you, AKA the questions to the exams. From there, you will have an exam session where your students will write down into the bubble sheets along with their name and their information. And from there, you would be, once the exams are done, you would send those bundles back to us to be graded. Let's just say, for instance, you were going to do the opposite and do online. Let's just go back here. Out of here, of course.
I think that's the biggest thing to remember is just be in sync with the two things. Because I know that's happened with some instructors, like they'll order online exam sheets and then the paper comes and you can't put them together. The two things don't work together. So just making sure that you're consistent with the two things.
1 second here. It's not showing up in green. What can you see on my screen? My shared screen. Oh, okay. I don't know why that's not lighting up.
It looks like you're still logged in too.
Okay. Did you want me to go over online exams and how to schedule it?
Yes, please.
Yeah, it'd be the same process, but it's the same process. But you pick online exam. The only thing, I don't know if anybody's experienced this, that I have when I do it is sometimes you have to put the code in, you have to make sure you put the code in exactly how they send it, like they'll send you codes to do it and you need to make it exact.
Yes, and I've heard a lot of complaints about our O's and our zeros being very similar in size. So if for whatever reason it's not working, and you have zeros or O's in it, try the opposite first. And then if that's still not working, you can connect with me and we can help figure that out. But same thing, we're going to hit exam management. We're going to hit the manager, scheduling exam. We have read the handbook. Show of hands, we have read the handbook. Again, it's not the best. I know, exactly. You would hit online exam and English. You would continue. You could schedule these exams the day of your exam, for instance. You would fill out the same information as you would for the paper and pencil, and you could hit the exam day. Let's not do that. I think Neely will get mad at me. She was like, make sure you cancel them afterwards. I'm like, okay. So I'm going to hit the 18th, and we'll be able to schedule exams. From there, you'll have those codes where your students will be able to access. So the same codes will link up to your student codes. Does that make sense? So your exam session that you've created for your students, those same codes that they need to take the exam, they would plug into the exam session. Does that make sense? Okay. And I'm going to follow up with, go on.
I was going to say it will when you get into it. I mean, it kind of walks you through the steps, like like the student opens up their online course, puts in their code, and then it says Proctor, put your code in, and it sort of just walks you through the steps.
I have a question.
Correct.
You may have already covered this and it may have escaped me.
Okay.
So the online exam, do they have to have taken the online course? Or can they take the course and then take the test online?
So for food handler, they have to go through the online course to get to the exam. For manager, there are three different ways to go along with that. One, it's the physical book, or we do have the ServSafe Manager course. We have the ServSafe Manager course book, which is the hardcover, or ServSafe Manager course book ebook. These are by So there are a few different ways. Hope, I'm going to go over ServSafe course book and ServSafe Manager book really quickly.
They probably only use Manager, anybody, because the course book is used more on the high level. But you could go over both of them. That's no problem.
Okay. Well, with that being said, we actually find that using the ServSafe course book is a lot easier for students to learn from. It is a bit heftier. So the ServSafe Manager book, for instance, I think is 10 chapters, where the ServSafe course book is 15 chapters. I learned from the course book in culinary school. The ServSafe course book was designed for students that have not been in industry before. So it goes over the learning objectives a lot more. Yes, it is a little bit longer, but the retention is there and the learning process sticks a little bit more. The ServSafe Manager book assumes that they've been in industry before or have learned prior. Which, if they're in culinary classes and they're using the foundations book, that might help them a little bit. But yes, the ServSafe course book was designed for like the K-12 college market, where Manager book was designed more for industry, if that makes sense.
Is the course book accepted for the person in charge for
Yes.
the state of Pennsylvania?
Yes, it's the exam is what they're looking for.
Okay. And
It's the same exam.
are you getting to the question I asked? Because you didn't really
She
answer.
said it. You don't have to take the online course for ServSafe managers to access the online exam.
Okay. Boy, that went right
Except
past me.
Yeah, that's okay.
They're
Okay,
yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they could take it in
Answering the
class with me
question.
and schedule it online.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Correct. All right. So we went over scheduling exams. I'm going to go over Proctoru now, Hope.
Sure. And just one more thing with the online exams, which I'm sure what's nice about online exams is there is an automatic grading process at the end where you know a pass fail. You don't necessarily know the exact score immediately, but once you grade the exams, you can tell if a student passed or failed. So that is a nice piece for the students when you're working through that.
Correct.
But yeah, if you can go over the Proctoru, because that is a new product that some instructors I think may want to access with their students, or I guess it would be a process if the school feels comfortable with the students accessing it.
Correct. I do not have like a presentation piece for this, so I'm just gonna go one-on-one with you guys and stop sharing really quickly. So we are offering a few different things. For remote learning, unfortunately, we are not allowing anybody, any of our proctors, proctor exams via Zoom meetings or anything like that. Your students absolutely have to be in class with you as normal. If you guys are not in school, we do have this third-party system called Proctoru. So again, Proctoru is a third-party system / partner that we are working with. It is a artificial software that needs to be able to be downloaded onto your computer. Unfortunately, it does not work with Chromebooks, so that could be an issue with high schools, since that's the majority of what you guys use. Plus, the student needs to schedule the exam through Proctoru, not through you guys. And someone from the Proctoru system will, one, be on camera watching the students taking the online course, or I'm sorry, online exam. And then also that downloaded system will be checking to make sure that any clicks that they use and moving the mouse is not clicking into any other browser to get answers or anything like that. So it's really proctored. There is no room for mistakes on your student's end at all. So with that being said, it does come with an additional cost. There are a few different ways that we could do this. One, the Proctoru system costs $63 per student. So it is a little costly, where the Manager Online course just costs $36. You can purchase it as a complete bundle with the online proctoring and online manager exam. That is $99. Or if you have extra leftover manager exam codes, we could swap them out and you would just have to pay the $63 for the Proctoru codes per student. Does that make sense? Swapping codes out is a longer process that needs additional information that I could send to you if you do choose that route. But also remember that manager exams do not expire. So you can hold on to the extra exam codes that you might not have used this year and use them for next year if we are back in normal routine, hopefully. Or you could just buy the $99 bundle and make things a little bit easier on both you and I. But that is up to you. That's up to your administrators as well. Any questions regarding Proctoru?
You just said ServSafe Manager exam codes do not expire. You mean only if you purchase them through Proctoru?
Exam codes.
Exam codes never expire. Those are not the course.
They never expire. But if they take the course, you have to take it within 90 days. Like I'm relating that to the 90 days. So if you start your ServSafe Manager course, you have to take the test within 90 days. But if you purchase exam codes, they don't expire. Those are two different things, right?
Correct. You can, well, kind of backing up a little bit, and I hope I'm not confusing anybody. You can buy the ServSafe Manager course with online exam codes. That expires as long as the online exam codes are not attached to the courses. Does that make sense? As like a bundle deal. So same with food handler. If you just, same with food handler.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be the same as if you had the bubble sheets and they were sitting in your office.
Mm-hmm.
You can use
Correct.
them next year. So the exam codes are the same way.
Correct. With Proctoru, I mean, there's a lot of different steps and a lot of different options. So if I wasn't clear here and you want to ask me now to clarify, I'm more than happy to. If Proctoru is something that you are looking for and maybe want to talk about your options one-on-one, and for the sake of time, we could do that as well. So any questions regarding Proctoru right now? It's just expensive.
Yeah, it's the you're muted, Camille.
Yeah. So for Proctoru, I know they have to be able to see the student the whole time, whatever. Some of these students are underage. For Proctoru, is there a parental thing that has to be signed because they're going to be in that student's bedroom? I mean, my kids are all in their bedroom.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to tell you what I see. So through Proctoru, is there some kind of confidentiality thing? Like,
so it is it's a confidentiality thing with Proctoru. They're very professional. However, if that is your school's concern, and they have like a data policy agreement or anything like that, that needs to be addressed first. And typically that has to go to either our legal team or Proctoru's legal team, which it's a headache and a half. But if that is something that your school has in place, that needs to be addressed first.
So just to piggyback on that, because I know the schools are going to have their own policies, but there is no age limit for whoever could, like a 16-year-old that decided they wanted to take the Proctoru exam could go out and order it themselves, and they're not going to be required to be a certain age to take it.
Correct. Not on Proctoru side.
Okay.
You don't have to be like 18 plus. But it does not work with Chromebooks, and that's like the main hurdle. So if you could get past the Chromebook issue, then we could talk more, I guess, too.
Well, I think we're good on that piece. Do you mind going over foundations a little bit?
Yep, absolutely.
And if you have more questions, you know, as we go through this and we send out the recording and the how-tos, I'll make sure that Liz's information's there too, so that you can reach out to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then once this session is over, I'm going to send Hope a couple how-to documents, and they're live documents. So you'll be able to click into them, and I'll have like a PDF version of the questions, and then sometimes even videos attached to them. All right, do you guys see my screen on Choose Restaurants?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All righty. So again, I am your foundations rep as well. For foundations, I personally have never gone through this step before, so we are kind of learning together. I've played around with it a little bit and know how to. It's pretty much the same as ServSafe. One thing to consider is you will have to be able to log into Choose Restaurants, and Hope, please correct me if I'm wrong, in order to even get to where the screen is, you have to log in and be an Instructor Proctor for ProStart, correct?
Right, and everybody here is. Everybody's gone through the process. So
okay, perfect. So that is the first step, is to log in through that. You would be able to go to ProStart for educators, ProStart exams for educators, I'm sorry. Am I on any leaves? Really quick, hold on.
Yeah, I think your best bet is to log in before you click on that.
Yes, yes, correct. Let me just see if I'm on Neely's really quick. Okay, I believe so. All right, so I'm going to go back to the main page. From here, you'll see the top toolbar, and it'll say ProStart exams for educators. You'll click into that. You'll be able to.
I think where it says manage exam session, like that area.
There we go. Manage exam session. You would pick the edition that you are. Hopefully you guys are all on the second edition. I'm gonna assume all of you guys are. If not, we'll need to talk about that. I'm gonna go into scheduling an exam. So I can pick either level 1 or level 2. I'm gonna schedule a level 1 exam. We are gonna read the handbook and hit accept. So again, just like ServSafe, it looks a little bit more clear on this end. You can either choose online exam or print exam. If you were going to hit the print exam, you will have to fill out this information as well. Tell us how many booklets you will need for each exam. And this is the same questions. This booklet is the same questions as a ServSafe. Not ServSafe questions, but what's the right word? Like process. So 10 days before the exam, this is where the questions are going to be held for your students to take it through the answer sheets, with the answer sheets. So you'll be able to hit Spanish or English, and then hit save and submit after you click the exam given date. For instance, if let's go back and do manage exam sessions and do the online, read and accept, online. I'm going to hit English at the drop-down button, whichever language I want to continue with. Hit continue, fill out the same information. I'm going to select the organization. And I'm going to hit for today. I'm going to hit save.
It's right here under English.
Oh,
yeah.
there we go. So I'm going to do return to examination management. And where did I get, let me see here really
The
quickly.
code was back on the other page.
The what?
The code, your Proctor code was on the other page.
It was, no, I'm looking for the question bundle. The bundle of questions for, oh, I'm so sorry. That's online. That's paper and pencil, not online. So you'll be able to get your, let's see. Is this from today? Where's the 17th? So this is the exam session. So this exam session is what you will need for that paper and pencil again, the exam session, and also the online. So you'll be able to get answer sheets from me and then also exam codes from me. And your students will be able to plug in this number, the exam session, to according to when they're like activating their exam session online. Does that make sense? Same with answer sheets as well. You'll get an exam session, which they'll write on the answer sheets. And I want to show you really quickly when I saved one yesterday, and maybe it was this one. Exam materials. Bear with me. Print exam booklets in English. So this is for the paper and pencil. You'll be able to go into the exam session, print this booklet out, and this will be your students' quiz. So this is all the information that your students will need to fill out. And see right over here, it'll have the question, the physical exam.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be for the paper and pencil. Any questions regarding this information? Hope and have I missed anything?
So do we print our own booklets? We don't get them sent to us. We print our own booklets
For
foundations
exams, correct.
Okay.
But then the answer sheets will go back to the same process as ServSafe. You mail the answer sheets
Correct.
back. So it'll be the same process. I mean, it is covered in the handbook, and I can send the handbook out when we send the how-tos out, because the whole process, but if it was online, it would just automatically generate the same way as the online for the other one. A question on the students setting up their accounts on Foundations versus ServSafe. Should they use, is it okay if they use the same emails, the same user ID, same password?
Correct. So within our organization, we kind of have 3 different websites. We have ServSafe, Choose Restaurants, and Foundations. When talking to my colleague, and I'm going to blame Lauren, Robin, and Hope, she mentioned signing your students up on the Choose Restaurants website, and it'll go for both. Have you heard that before? Okay, perfect. So chooserestaurants.com is where, you know, you will log in for your information. I would have your students use that website to create a username and password. From my understanding, when I was talking to a colleague, again, I'm blaming her if this is incorrect. Choose Restaurants talks to the foundations and for ServSafe, so they will be able to merge together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's, I think, what, to make it less confusing for the students so they don't have a million passwords and they don't create a million accounts. And the other thing that I think is very important to remember is, can you scroll up to the first page? And I think it talks about it. To make sure when they're doing their exams and when they set up their accounts, that they use the same names. So if it's Caroline Smith, make sure that every time she fills out an answer sheet form versus, you know, with her account, that she uses Caroline Smith. And we always say, just make sure they set up with their legal names, what's on their driver's license. Because if she puts Carly Smith in for the level 2, the system's going to be like, I'm going to create a Carly Smith because I don't know who Carly Smith is. I can't find Caroline Smith from Carly Smith. It's not a big deal. We can connect them and figure it out, but it's just a little more legwork. So I think just to make sure that the students keep consistent with their name each time.
It's kind of like booking an airplane trip. It has to match your driver's license. Okay.
And the other thing just to remember too is once they take this first exam on foundations, it'll create a student account for them. Like it'll start populating the account for certificate of achievement. So they'll have like a profile where they can go back and look at their exam 1, and they can start putting hours in for their work hours or competencies, so they can start working on their certificate of achievement paperwork on this side too, after the first exam is generated. Right? I'm right, Liz? That hasn't changed yet.
No, you're correct. Okay. Any other questions regarding this information?
No, to order materials, again, just come directly to you.
Yeah, it really is easier for both you and I. This way I know exactly what you are looking for, and prices match. Since you are Pro Start, you guys do get a 10% discount. And in order for that to be applied, so if you do it for yourself, let's just say, sometimes it won't automatically populate. I have to physically go into our system and give you that 10% discount. So if you want that 10%, you could contact me directly so I can create that quote for you more accurately. And same with ServSafe as well.
No, that's great. That's great. And if you want to CC me on any of the communications that you send to Liz, please do. That way, you know, we both kind of stay on the same page of what's happening.
Absolutely. And Hope is a lot more on top of it than I am.
Well, I only have one state. I only have one state.
True, but still.
I want to take care of all my educators. I like to keep them safe from everyone.
Yes, well, you do a good job of it. You definitely do. So, I mean, with that being said, Hope, do you want me to go over anything else? Or did anybody have any additional questions?
I mean, this is what I wanted to have you cover. If anybody had questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah.
Or after we send everything out, if you have more questions, or when it comes time to, I'm sorry, my phone is ringing. When it comes time for you to do this for the first time, please reach out to us and we will walk through the process with you so that, but with that being said, I would give us at least a day or two to walk through that process so that we're not up against the gun and the students are sitting there waiting to take an exam. We'll make sure.
Correct.
Now, I guess one other question is, if they're having an issue, how should they handle that? Like when a code doesn't work, or if the online exam, should they call the service center or try and call you or I first? Because you know what I'm saying. You're sitting there with everybody looking at you and you're like, oh, how to do this.
For ServSafe, there is an exam hotline, which I'm going to write that down. I'm going to send that in that email. Hold on.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
For ServSafe, I would go directly to that exam hotline, which I will share with, hope to share with you guys. If it's foundations, you can come directly to me. Typically, I'll be able to handle it. If not, I will refer or send an email to our service center, which they will connect with you directly. So I guess that I'm not the middleman, but at the same time, the account gets flagged and they take a little bit more time and effort knowing that I sent it to them.
That's great. I mean, I feel like what I was looking to have covered was covered today. I appreciate everybody getting on the call. I know doing these exams for foundations is new for some of most of the individuals but some it is a review, but it's a good review to have. Can you go back to the other page, to the home page of Choose Restaurants? I don't know where we were. Oh, there it is. Over one more. There you go. Ugh.
Hold on. It kicked me out. Time has elapsed.
Juice.
1 second.
The only thing I just wanted to show you guys one more piece that I think is helpful for you. I wanted to go into the instructor service, the hub. You know what I'm talking about? So if you log in as
not the
Neely,
coordinators. I think I'm logged in. I believe so.
it says you need to log in.
Okay. Well done.
There's just one additional resource area on there that I think is helpful. It has some different study materials and things that you could download to help you with everything. So yeah, so if you go into, now I gotta remember how to get there. Go to where it says programs and scholarships. I just want the drop down menu, and then ProStart for Educators. And then scroll down a little bit, keep going. You see where it says Access Educator Hub, the fourth box over. If you click on there, this is a great resources for you. There's some branding material that you could download, logos, some classroom resources that you can download, some rubrics, and if you keep scrolling down, all the past webinars that they've been doing that I send out to you on emails, they do upload them over to here. And then the COA processes, help documents, the passports here, and then when you go down to exams, you can download some of the the pre-tests are actually for edition 1, but then the edition 2 exam specs is there. So it's just some additional materials that you can download to help you while you're trying to walk through the materials. So that would be under ProStart for Educators is where you need to go, and you need to be logged in.
And is the learning objectives on here? I don't believe so.
That's strange. They don't have that on there, but I have them that I could send out. That might be actually, if you scroll, there was one about the curriculum. If you go back one page.
That'll bring you to the foundations. I don't know if the learning objectives.
It says view curriculum materials. I'm wondering if it's under there because it used to be. Oh, it might be on the textbook. I think it's on the textbooks website.
I mean, it should be. I think it's under educators. You can find our video content under here as well. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I don't have to waste your time.
I just wanted you to see that piece because I know that's sometimes it's not information that, like, I'll tell you about it, but it's hard to remember what I'm saying. And then on March 9th, which I did put in the email earlier this week, but the Summer Institute applications are opening up for educators. And that is all going to be virtual, which will be great for accessing that information, you know, taking part in those summer institutes, since normally you have to travel to them. If you go back to the Choose Restaurants page. Is it going to let you? Okay, good. Go up to programs, and I just need to look in here. See where it says Summer Institute under professional development. I know Larry had signed up. He was going to try and go, and Christy was thinking about going for last year, and unfortunately they were canceled because of the in-person part of them. But you know, they are going to be doing the digital courses, and it could be a great way to get yourself started on this track. I've heard it's wonderful with the interaction you have with other instructors across the United States, and the connectivity that you have with the different programs afterwards is invaluable, I've heard, for your classrooms. But with that, I mean, that was really all I wanted to cover today. I appreciate, Liz, all your time and getting on this call with us and walking us through this, and impersonating Neely. You do a great Neely. I know Neely, so you do a great Neely.
Thank you.
I mean, if no one has any questions, we definitely can end the session, so that, you know, I know it's been an hour at this point, so I don't want to keep anybody longer than you need to be on a webinar. But I will send out the documents that Liz has, and, you know, some of those hotline numbers to help you. But, you know, Liz and I are definitely your contacts. If, you know, don't go to the service center first. You know, try and come to us so that we can try and navigate to the right place for you.
Thank you both. Thank you both very much. I appreciated the time and the information.
Thank you.
I appreciate everybody getting on. Thank you, guys. It's nice to see some faces, and I hope everybody's doing well and feeling well and surviving this weather. At least it's not as cold as it is in Chicago.
And I'm going up north this weekend to Wisconsin, so.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Nice and cold.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. If I don't speak to you, I'll have my additional information when Hope sends it out with all of those resources. Please don't hesitate to email me or call me. Sometimes I don't answer my phone because it is forwarded to my cell phone and the app is weird. So email is best at first, but I'm always willing to pick up the phone and talk to you. Okay.
Great. Well, thank you, everybody, for getting on, and I will get this out after I get it all put together.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great
Bye, you
rest of your
guys.
week. Bye.
Bye-bye.